All right, fifth grade, we are continuing along here in chapter 11 with lesson 11.4, converting and comparing U.S. customary units of weight. Two conversions that you need to be aware of. 16 ounces equals 1 pound. Takes 2,000 pounds to make 1 ton. Those are the two conversions you're going to need to be aware of. Convert the weight. Now, just so you know, the rules of converting and comparing remain the same. If the measurement is getting smaller, the number gets bigger, so you're going to multiply. If the measurement gets bigger, the number is going to get smaller, so you're going to divide. So when I go from 8 tons, and I need to convert that into pounds, I'm going to be looking at this idea that 2,000 pounds equals 1 ton. 1 ton is bigger than 1 pound, so my measurement is getting smaller, so my number is getting bigger, so I'm going to need to multiply. This is going to become 2,000 times 8, which I can just use my zeros trick for that. 2,000 times 8. Well, I know that 2 times 8 is 16, and then I can add the 1, 2, 3 zeros, and I can have 16,000 pounds. 7.5 pounds equals blank ounces. Well, it takes 1 pound to make 16 ounces, so 1 pound is bigger than 1 ounce because it takes 16 ounces to make 1 pound. So once again, the measurement is getting smaller, which means the number is getting bigger. So I'm going to multiply. Well, this is a mixed number, so I need to convert it into a fraction. 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15. So it's going to become 15 over 2. That's going to be multiplied by, and the key number is 16, because it takes 16 ounces to make 1 pound. This is going to be 16 over 1. Well, I can cross-check. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 16 divided by 2 is 8. 15 times 8 equals 120. 1 times 1 is 1. I know that 120 over 1 equals 120. And if I think about it as division, 120 divided by 1 equals 120. All right, let's go on to this one. 5 1/4 tons equals blank pounds. Well, 1 ton, since it takes 2,000 pounds to make 1 ton is bigger than 1 pound. So the measurement is getting smaller, which means the number is getting bigger, which means I'm multiplying, which means that I'm taking 5 1/4 and multiplying that by 2,000. Well, 4 times 5 is 20, plus 1 is 21, so 21 over 4 being multiplied by 2,000 over 1. Well, that can be cross-checked because 20 divided by 4 is 5, so 2,000, 20 divided by 4 is 5. Those two zeros just get added into the answer. That becomes 500. That becomes 1. Well, I'm going to come over here and do 500 times 21. Well, I can use the zeros trick, so I can just do 21 times 5, and I'm kind of cramming space. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10, but I'm going to need to add those two zeros. So I get 10,500, because 21 times 5 was 105. Add the two zeros, 10,500. All right, moving right along. 96 ounces equals blank pounds. All right, well, 96 ounces equals blank pounds. When I think about 16, I think, well, 16, first of all, I want to know if it can go in evenly. 16 times 1 is 16, times 2 is 32, times 3 is 48, times 4 is 64, times 5 is 80, times 6 is 96. So that works out perfectly. And sure enough, 96 divided by 16 is 6. I know this is division because 1 ounce is smaller than 1 pound. The measurement is getting bigger, so the number gets smaller. So I'm going to divide. 64,000 ounces equals blank tons. Well, there's no conversion from ounces to tons. So I'm going to first have to turn my ounces into pounds. 1 ounce is smaller than 1 pound. So the measurement is getting bigger, which means the number is getting smaller. So it's going to be 64,000 divided by 16. Well, when I went through my 16 things, I realized that 16 times 4 is 64. All right, so I know that 64 divided by 16 is 4, and I add the 3 zeros, so I get 4,000. 64,000 ounces is the same as 4,000 pounds. But I need to turn the pounds into tons. 2,000 pounds makes 1 ton. So I have pounds. I want to turn it into tons. 1 pound is smaller than 1 ton. So once again, the measurement is getting bigger, which means the number is getting smaller, which means I'm dividing. I want to turn this 4,000 pounds into tons, so I have to divide that by 2,000. So it becomes 4,000 divided by 2,000. 4 divided by 2 is 2. I can cross 1 0 here, 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 nothing left. 64,000 ounces equals 2 tons. All right, last one in conversion before we get into comparing. 150 ounces equals blank pounds, blank ounces. So here they're going to break it up. So first, really, all I'm doing here now, and we did something like this with inches in feet in lesson 11.3, I got to figure out how many pounds can fit into 150 ounces. Well, I know the conversion is 16 ounces equals 1 pound. Okay, so I'm going to take 150 and I'm going to divide it by 16. Well, I know that when I think about that, I'm doing 100 and if I do 16 times 10, that's 160, which is just 10 more than 150. So I'm going to try and see what I get here when I do 16 times 9. 9 times 6 is 54. Put the 4 down, carry the 5. 9 times 1 is 9, plus the 5 is 14. Well, I like that because that gives me 144 ounces. So it gives me 9 full pounds. And I know if I have 144 ounces, 6 more will get me up to 150. So that's 9 pounds, 6 ounces. Now, if I wanted to, I could do 150 divided by 16. And that would just be the 9, the 144. I'd subtract it, get 6, 9, remainder 6. And so it would be your 9 pounds, 6 ounces. Either way, it would work out. All right, let's go into comparing. Compare using less than, greater than, or equal to. Now, once again, just like we mentioned yesterday, you have to change one of these to become the other. Okay? And most of the time it's easier just to multiply, but it just kind of depends. Remember the 2 conversions that we're working with today, and I'm just going to rewrite them here. 16 ounces equals 1 pound. 2,000 pounds equals 1 ton. Those are the 2 main conversions that we're working with. 20 tons or 4,000 pounds. Well, since I know that 2,000 pounds is equal to 1 ton, if I take 2,000 times 2, that's going to give me 4,000. That's not too difficult to figure out. So that tells me that this 4,000 pounds is equivalent to 2 tons. All right, because if I take 4,000 and divide it by 2,000, that's going to give me 2. We did that problem before. So that tells me that 20 tons is bigger than 4,000 pounds, which is only 2 tons. 37 ounces equals 2.5 pounds. Well, like I said yesterday, most of the time for me, it's easier to multiply. And that's the same here as well. Going from pounds to ounces, because 1 ounce is not as much as 1 pound because it takes 16 ounces to make 1 pound. So the measurement is getting bigger. Or sorry, when I go from pounds to ounces, the measurement is getting smaller. So the number is getting bigger. So I'm going to multiply. So I'm going to take 2.5, which is 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, which is 5 over 2. And I'm going to multiply that by 16, which is 16 over 1, because I'm turning it into ounces. I can divide those both by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 16 divided by 2 is 8. 5 times 8 is 40. 1 times 1 is 1. I know that 40 over 1 equals 40. So this 2.5 pounds is equal to 40 ounces, which makes it bigger than 37 ounces. The mouth is going to be open to that side. Last one, 4 tons equals 112,000 ounces. So I'm going to have to turn these tons into ounces. Well, first of all, I know that 1 ton is equal to 2,000 pounds. And if I want to turn that pounds into ounces, it takes 16 ounces to make 1 pound. This pounds is going to become ounces, so the measurement is getting smaller, which means the number is getting bigger. So I'm going to multiply. I'm going to take the 2,000 pounds. I'm going to multiply it by 16 because there's 16 ounces in 1 pound. 2 times 16 is 32. Add the 3 zeros. I get 32,000. But that's just in 1 ton. I have 4 tons. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to multiply this by 4 because I need to know how many ounces are in 4 tons. Well, 4 times 0, 0, and 0 gives me 0, 0, and 0. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. I get 128,000. But I only have 112,000 ounces. So the 4 tons is bigger with its 128,000 ounces than the 112 ounces. All right, we'll talk to you later.